Now, for more analysis, let's talk to Shalini Verma, Principal Research Analyst at Gartner. She speaks to us live from Johannesburg. Shalini, first impressions, what are your thoughts? Did it live up to expectations?
Well, I think most of the rumors were terribly accurate. So it has met expectations in terms of what we were expecting from the launch. Two things really stand out, and one is, of course, the fingerprint scanning that you mentioned, and the other is the M7 motion processor, which will capture activities which we do, and it's very similar to tracking fitness devices. So both are capabilities that Apple is testing in the market, and both are indications of things that are going to come in terms of wearable devices and sensors. And one of the things I feel very strongly, and if you look at a couple of launches that Apple has done and launches by other providers, that smartphone is no longer the focal point of innovation. It's going to be part of a bevy of devices that we will be using, and they will be equipped with sensors and will be able to collect contextual information and have more information about what we do and who we are, and be able to give us, make our lives more efficient in a sense.
Well, let's zero in on the 5C for a second. What's your take on Apple's strategy for the low-cost phone? Many are saying it's not exactly cheap.
Yeah, well, the C doesn't stand for cheap. If you look at the unsubsidized price points, it's upwards of $400. So I think what Apple is trying to do is, it certainly doesn't want to give up on margin at the cost of market share, and it's really going after the mid-market. And so we are going to see some amount of bloodbath in that market segment, where competition is going to be fairly brutal, and HTC and LG and Samsung are going to battle it out with Apple. So in an emerging market, if you really want to cast a wider net, you definitely have to look at, other than offering a cheap device, you really have to look at playing the role of a cost leader. And I think at this stage, Apple is not willing to do that, and it obviously is concerned about protecting its brand. So it's really going to go after the mid-market.
Seems to be playing safe. You mentioned the fingerprint sensor earlier, restricted to just two things: unlocking of the phone and shopping on Apple's online stores. Why is Apple taking baby steps with this technology? What else could it potentially be used for?
I think there's a lot that's going to come up, and once Apple is able to, is in a position to release the APIs for this to the developer community, I think a lot of the applications around commercial transactions will come up, and it's particularly relevant in countries like Singapore, where you already have biometric passports, and there's a lot of information already available on fingerprint. So I think, other than commercial transactions, delivery of citizen services using the device would be something that I would probably look at as an evolution of services that are delivered at a city level. So I think this is pretty promising, but we'll have to watch this space as we go ahead.
Okay, many thanks, Shalini Verma from Gartner.